what used to be maybe distributing meds and being there in case of seizures or just helping give advice as needed has really turned into one of the most significant roles that we have to manage this crisis.
School nurse is now more important than ever before to help get our kids through this pandemic.
And to help celebrate their 100th anniversary in the city of Findlay, the Findlay Kiwanis Club are currently building a new playground for their community.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. Good to see you over here. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Melissa Andrews. Yeah, we do have a
We're set up here. We're still socially distancing. We have to.
Sometimes I'll be looking over here. Sometimes we'll meet in the middle.
Let's look over there at Ryan Weekman.
At the green screen.
Hi, Ryan. Good to see you.
Guys, good to see you this evening as well. Having a good time here as we go through another day here. Wednesday, almost behind us here. We've got the sun that's trying to peek out for a nice little sunset and first alert Doppler that has all the rain showers behind us as well. Here's a live look for tonight. Still have a little bit of haze out there from the moisture, earlier rainfall. It's 83 degrees right now, a west wind at about 15 miles per hour. Does it still feel a little bit humid, a little bit muggy out there? Likely that's going to continue overnight. Open up that first alert weather app. Temperatures only go down into the mid 60s. Wind go nearly calm tonight. I'm going to show you what a big change tomorrow versus Friday is going to be. Big impacts on our Big Board Friday forecast coming up.
The decisions that we make as individuals relative to the COVID issue will affect our community, will affect our schools, will affect our sporting events.
A pretty stark warning tonight from the Toledo-Lucas County Health Department. Contact tracers are seeing more people venturing out when they're sick. Amy Steigerwald live outside the health department in downtown Toledo tonight with this story. Amy, while health officials are concerned about this, their message they're sending tonight isn't anything new.
No, Andrew, it's really not. It's something we've been talking about for weeks, especially with kids going back to school. The health commissioner really wants to make it clear if you are sick, you should stay home, even if it's something as simple as a cough.
We're hearing some stories that are a little disturbing, that we have people that are going to work and they know they're sick or they might be positive.
Stay home if you or your kids are sick. That's the message health officials want to send as more districts prepare to bring students back to the classroom. The concern stems from issues the Toledo-Lucas County Health Department is seeing at various schools. Parents sending their children to play a sport or go to school while having symptoms of COVID-19.
If you're bringing COVID into the school or onto a sporting team, that impacts that sporting event, that sport itself, that school, that classroom. It really does impact that.
Many districts pushed back their in-person start date to various points in September or October, hoping case numbers would start to improve. So far, things are looking the same.
We're all kind of thinking by this time we might be out of the red zone. We might be seeing better numbers with the daily cases, but we've kind of plateaued a little bit here.
The health department is adding more contact tracers to its team, especially as more districts prepare to go back.
And Amy, they are also addressing flu shots during their briefing today. What are they saying about the flu this season?
Yeah, Andrew, I'm told that they're actually, the flu shots here at the Lucas County Health Department will be available come the third week of September, and those will be extra important this year when it comes to keeping everyone healthy.
All right, Amy Steigerwald reporting live tonight from downtown Toledo. Amy, thank you.
Millions of Americans are at risk of eviction because of the coronavirus pandemic, and many eviction moratoriums have either expired or were going to soon. But now the federal government is stepping in. The CDC moratorium doesn't relieve tenants or future rent obligations, and it only applies to people making less than $99,000 a year or joint filers making less than $198,000. The CDC says if millions don't have a place to live, it could further spread the virus.
I think the next question, though, is around money. How do we pay people's rental bills so that they're not evicted come January 1st?
Although groups representing landlords and property owners oppose the eviction moratorium, they say they too are struggling to pay their bills.
With school districts around the country grappling with how to reopen safely, many are missing a critical figure, A school nurse. Pre-pandemic estimates showed only 40% of schools in the U.S. had a full-time nurse on staff. That shortage now problematic when having a medical professional on campus is so essential. And those school nurses taking on the start of a new school year a bit different than they've ever had to before. Kaylee Kirby examining the important role they all now play.
The role of a school nurse before COVID-19 would have been watching over students who may feel sick throughout the day or even administering medication. Their role now becoming a key component in making sure schools stay open.
They do play a major role from the time the students start to arrive and doing symptom checks to managing an isolation room if that were to happen when we have students with symptoms.
Area school nurses can add contact tracers to their list of new responsibilities as well. They have become the main point of contact for any and all things COVID-19 related. Springfield local schools used to have shared nurses across the district, but the need to have someone immediately available is what pushed the district to hire a nurse for every building.
Being that presence to have a medical person in the buildings to assess those symptoms, see if there's something that they can go back to class, if it's something that's possibly related to COVID, and acting appropriately with the guidelines from the health department.
Director of Health Services and nurse herself, Amanda Saucedo, says the role nurses now play in schools is going to be their new normal, but she thinks it's a good thing.
So I can see this going on for at least the next year or two. But I think people have built a relationship with their nurses now, so they know that they're there, they know that they have the support.
Beyond COVID-19, Saucedo believes teachers and families will be able to reach out and rely on nurses more than they have before. Reporting in Holland, Kaylee Kirby, WTOL 11.
A task force has recommendations for Michigan's nursing homes. It wants the state to modify a system in which residents who have COVID-19 can be treated and isolated in those facilities. Governor Gretchen Whitmer created the group in preparation for a second wave of the virus. Nursing home residents make up about 31% of Michigan's confirmed or probable deaths related to the virus. Paramount Healthcare is donating sanitizing units to 40 skilled nursing facilities. Right now, a lot of residents in those facilities, as you can understand, are using video calls to see their loved ones. Well, the phone soap sanitizing units will help to keep smart technology clean. It removes 99% of germs in just a 10-minute cycle.
Over the last 6 months, many of you have relied on help from the government to pay for your bills. It may be a surprise that the money you received could affect your taxes come next year. Zainab Shaib taking a look at what you can expect.
During this pandemic, many people have lost their jobs and may have had to apply for unemployment or PPP loans for small business owners. While those loans will be forgiven, the money isn't exactly just being given away.
Now, as it stands, having to pay tax on whatever was forgiven, even though it says it is not taxable, they've come at it a different way and said you can't deduct the wages that you would have ordinarily deducted. So in effect, you're getting to the same place. It's taxable.
Thomas Byard from Toledo CPA says we don't have to worry about paying taxes on the stimulus checks many Americans received. But unemployment checks are another story. You might have a little sticker shock come next year.
But the unemployment, if they get $10,000 in unemployment and they're in the 15% tax bracket, their tax bill is going to be $1,500 higher than it would have been otherwise.
This is coming as news to some people.
A lot of people don't know that. You know, they're receiving this money, they're getting these grants and everything. They don't know they have to pay this stuff back. You know, like I said, they think it's like $10,000 or whatever, $5,000. You know, they think it's a lot of money in one lump sum, but it's not. So, no, I don't think they should pay that money back.
Byard says if you happen to apply for a loan during the crisis, just be aware there may be tax consequences. He adds you don't have to pay the money back all at once.
And if you need to, know that there are ways that you can at least have some time to pay that back. It's not all at once and you don't have to pay it overnight. But definitely, I would say if you've got any of those situations, you might want to see a tax professional and at least find out what your options are and how you can go about minimizing the cost to you.
For more ways to help minimize the burden of your next tax bill, you can head over to WTOL.com. In West Toledo, Zainab Shaib for WTOL 11.
Police are looking for a shooter in North Toledo tonight. This happened early this morning on Blackstone near Homer in the Stickney and Manhattan area. 18-year-old Michael Barber says he was at a party a few blocks away when he was shot in the foot. He went to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Police searched the area but did not find a shooter. 3 homes shot at yesterday, one in the 500 block of Toronto in South Toledo, where a bullet went through a kitchen window. Another home shot on Burnham in West Toledo, and a third on Cumberland in Central Toledo. No one was hurt in any of the shootings. Toledo police have been investigating several cases like these over the summer months and say it's not clear who the bullets are intended for, but they are concerned innocent families are at risk. If you know anything, call Crime Stoppers.
Some shocking new data tonight from the Ohio State Highway Patrol. July, the deadliest month on Ohio roads since 2007. A total of 154 people died. Governor Mike DeWine now pushing for the Hands-Free Ohio bill, which is currently pending in the Ohio General Assembly. It would make driving while handling any electronic wireless device a primary offense. DeWine is also pushing the Ohio Traffic Safety Council to monitor and coordinate all statewide traffic safety initiatives.
We're also adding high visibility crosswalks, street lighting, signage, and signals at hundreds of intersections throughout Ohio to make them safer for our pedestrians.
The governor has also developed programs specific to younger drivers.
The Kiwanis Club of Findlay is giving back to the community in a big way to celebrate its 100th anniversary, but they could also use some extra help from you. John Monk has the details.
A new playground is currently being built on the east end of Findlay on the grounds of the historic Little Red Schoolhouse. On Wednesday, it was just a bunch of holes and poles, but volunteers from the Kiwanis Club of Findlay will be busy for the next 3 days putting it together. Once complete, the Brooklocker Memorial Park, named after longtime Kiwanis member Jim Brooklocker, will be one of the only parks within walking distance for the neighboring area.
We know that there's lots of children that come visit the schoolhouse for field trips every year, and also a large number that live in the neighborhoods nearby that don't have a park within walking distance. So this playground seemed like the perfect way to celebrate our anniversary and honor Jim's memory.
The funds for the $180,000 project was raised entirely by the Kiwanis Club of Findlay to celebrate their 100th anniversary. Once complete, maintenance of the playground will be shared between the Kiwanis and the Hancock Historical Museum.
Kiwanis is all about serving the children of the world and making a difference one child in one community at a time. And what could be more impactful for children than a safe, fun place to play?
Now, the Kiwanis are looking for more volunteers to sign up for one of the 2 volunteer shifts on Thursday and Friday still. It's a 10-person cap per shift, and you can sign up by clicking on a link on our website or our news app. Reporting from Findlay, I'm John Monk, WTOL 11.
A new lawsuit filed over the officer-involved shooting of Breonna Taylor. Tonight, her boyfriend speaking out for the first time.
And with no end in sight to the pandemic, more and more people are feeling down. What experts want you to look out for before it's too late.
And first alert Doppler, high and dry tonight. Will it stay that way into the weekend? I'll show you right after the break. What?
I need to do like an afternoon shoot in the next week or so with no rain.
Either Thursday or Friday looks really nice, especially Friday.
Not this Friday.
Oh, you said within the week.
The next week.
Oh, in that case, Monday looks like the only dry day. Green giant. All right, so the rain has moved out today. I think it stays that way for at least the next few, at least into the Labor Day weekend. Tomorrow we're just tracking a warm and yes, muggy day. Don't discount that. It's still going to feel very humid. Thursday, it's going to be that way. Friday, it's going to be almost the exact opposite. Let me show it to you right here on our hour-by-hour forecast. We're going to keep the sunshine, but it's just going to feel way different from tomorrow and Friday. Hour-by-hour forecast here. Let's just start things off tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. We're in the mid-50s. A really cool start to the day compared to today. I think tomorrow starts off nice. By the afternoon, though, look at this, reach the low to mid-80s for a high temperature. And again, it is going to be on the heavier, muggier side for the way that the air is going to feel. Compare that to Friday morning, where we drop all the way down close to 50 degrees for an overnight low, and the afternoon high is going to be nowhere near as warm as tomorrow. This should only be in the low to mid 70s. So you start thinking about that big board Friday forecast, a little taste of some autumn weather ahead there for Friday. How about our Labor Day weekend? Said we're going to be dry going into it. Saturday and Sunday still look dry as well. A high of 82 degrees, and that big cool down we were tracking for next week might be able to push that back just a little bit later for us. And that does have big impacts, of course, on our Labor Day forecast. Right now we've got it at 84 degrees. Still a chance for a few scattered showers. Nothing like that outside right now. First alert Doppler, it is dry. Your evening plans, maybe thinking about grilling out. Got the barbecue ready to go. You're going to enjoy this one this evening. 78 degrees there at 7 p.m. Notice we do cool down back into the 60s. Even the upper 50s overnight for tonight. Your full extended forecast here. Again, into the Labor Day weekend looks dry. Next chance for showers will be Monday. And then next week, we get into a little bit more of an unsettled pattern, potentially. A few more chances for some scattered rain showers. And notice high temperatures do take a little bit of a step back there, largely in the 70s. All in all, for September, a fairly quiet forecast like you might expect on one of the drier months typically of the year for the Toledo Metro.
An airport mystery, why the FBI and the FAA are now on the hunt for a jetpack. Joe Biden is going to Kenosha, Wisconsin tomorrow. It's his first visit to the state this year. He's expected to hold a community meeting there just days after the president visited and met with local law enforcement. Kenosha has been the site of peaceful protests and sometimes violent unrest since police shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back last month.
Breonna Taylor's boyfriend speaking out for the first time since Taylor was killed by Louisville police back in March. Kenneth Walker now suing the Kentucky AG, Louisville mayor, and the entire police department. He was in Taylor's apartment when police barged in with a search warrant and shot her. Walker says he thought the police were intruders and fired 1 shot. He was charged with attempted murder for the alleged shooting of 1 officer. His attorney saying police violated his rights.
There's more evidence of the disparate treatment of African Americans in the criminal justice system, right? Less than 2 hours to charge him on March 13th. But these officers have had about 6 months and they still haven't been charged.
In fact, 1 officer involved in that raid was fired. 2 others remain on administrative leave. The case remains under investigation. Some Miami-Dade police officers being recognized tonight for preventing a tragedy. Take a look at this video. They were responding to a call about a 19-year-old man in distress near an expressway. When they arrived, they found that man barely hanging onto the ledge of a highway overpass. The officers managing to grab that man's arm, and together they pulled him up to safety.
Well, the FBI and FAA are investigating a mystery near the LA airport. 2 pilots, separate planes, reported seeing a man with a jetpack flying near the airport. They're not commercially available and only a handful of companies even make them. An LA-based jetpack maker says its products don't have enough fuel to get a person 3,000 feet and back to the ground safely. The company's CEO says jetpacks are so loud, someone on the ground would notice it taking off.
Tower, American 1997. We just passed a guy in a jetpack.
Investigators are pretty skeptical it was in fact a man in a jetpack, but clearly those pilots did see something. It has to remain a mystery for now.
Wow. Well, right now, more and more people than ever before suffering from depression. Why the pandemic isn't helping and who's most at risk. That's next.
Do you have one of those mic converters for the phone? I know Kaylee has one. It's like a cable, but it's next to a phone.
A new study finds 3 times more people were suffering from depression at the beginning of the pandemic compared to the same time period last year. And now 5 months later, researchers say it's possible levels of depression are even higher. Elise Preston takes a closer look.
It's been a tough year for Craig Etten inside his California diving shop.
Over these, 4 or 5 months, I've put on 35 to 40 pounds.
Weight the shop owner gained while dealing with levels of stress he's never seen. The coronavirus pandemic wiped out thousands of dollars of business.
Can you describe what that stress feels like?
Helplessness. Feeling like I'm completely not in control of the things that I'm supposed to be in control of.
He isn't alone. In a new survey published in JAMA, the number of Americans reporting symptoms of depression tripled during the first few weeks of April, compared with the same time period in 2019.
These findings were surprising. This number is higher than what we have seen after other large-scale events.
Study author Catherine Ettman says women were more likely to feel depressed, as were people struggling with finances.
Researchers conducted the survey when the pandemic was at its height here in New York City. The virus and financial pain had not yet spread across the country, and they say it's possible even more people are feeling depressed.
If somebody is experiencing depression, they should know that they're not alone and that they should seek medical treatment.
Yetten says he isn't ready to talk to a professional.
It's not easy to go and say, I need you to help me. That's not an easy deal.
He is sharing his pain with friends and family and diving into work, hoping to salvage the life he worked so hard to build. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Many of us are having trouble explaining these hard times to our kids, but some therapists say difficult times can be learning and growing opportunities. In fact, there are ways you can help your children learn resiliency during the pandemic. One psychotherapist says you can teach children to be resilient by having a positive mindset and letting them help others even in tough times. You can also be flexible and talk more about accepting fear.
These are uncertain times, so accepting that you might feel fearful or anxious is actually helpful, because then it gives you an opportunity also to express that.
And to help your kids manage stress, remember it's good for everyone in the family to take a break, to laugh, and be a little playful.
Well, you can now add Lego to the list of companies benefiting from people spending more time at home. Get this, a toy maker said sales jumped 14% in the first half of 2020. Video game companies also seeing a big surge. Nintendo's operating profit more than quadrupled in its most recent quarter.
Coming up next, how a local college is doing what it can to help recent grads deal with a lot of changes thanks to coronavirus.
And I'll show you the latest on our Labor Day weekend forecast and what it means for your plans.
Hey, it's Logan. Check, check. 1 2 1 2. Check, check, check.
Can you guys hear me from about here? I should probably put on a mask, right?
Probably.
Thanks so much for sticking with us tonight on WTOL 11 News at 5:30. I'm Melissa Andrews.
And I'm Andrew Kinsey. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's get you caught up on that first alert forecast. Ryan Weekman standing by with details. Ryan, I feel like I hit the lotto today because I actually got some rain at the house.
I got some rain, so the grass greening up a little bit for you makes it look a little bit better. And I think that's going to be the trend over the next, let's say, week to week and a half. A few more chances for some rain showers. That sun angle is getting a little bit lower, you can tell. And of course, that really helps out with some of that burnt out grass. Jet Express camera out here looking good as well. Still got some clouds, but I think we'll get some sunshine yet in over the next hour and a half or so. 83 degrees in Toledo, 81 in Fremont, 81 in Findlay. This is kind of where we've been holding for the most part for today. I think tomorrow we take a little bit of a step up as far as the heat goes. Still humid through tomorrow, and then our warmer Labor Day weekend trends. You can check that out right now on our First Alert weather app, and I'll be back here in just a few minutes to show you it in the 10-day forecast.
Ryan, thanks. President Trump is in the battleground state of North Carolina as both he and Joe Biden take different approaches to the campaign trail today. Deborah Alfarone is at the White House with more tonight.
The battleship North Carolina stood in the background as President Trump named Wilmington America's first World War II heritage city.
That's a big deal. Our nation's very first. Wilmington, congratulations to you all.
But the president's trip to the Tar Heel state was also political, with the latest CBS News Battleground tracker poll showing it as a toss-up.
We're running against people that have got some big issues. They've got some big, big problems. They're stone cold crazy, and we have to keep our country.
Face masks and social distancing were sparse during the president's events, in contrast to Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden's socially distanced Delaware news conference.
A president has the responsibility to set examples, set the right example for how to get out, not go out and not wear masks.
Earlier, the former vice president attended a virtual briefing on the coronavirus and schools with his wife, Jill Biden.
This is a national emergency. But President Trump still doesn't have any real plan.
The two sides also continue to clash over the ongoing racial justice protests against police brutality, which hit a flashpoint last week when police shot Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
These people only know one thing, and that's strength. That's all they know, strength. And we have strength.
The president praised law enforcement and defended his supporters' actions through the protests during his visit to Kenosha Tuesday. Biden says he'll take a different message when he travels there on Thursday.
We got to heal. We got to put things together, bring people together.
The president and the Democratic candidate will face off in their first debate in Cleveland, Ohio later this month. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
Well, with the election just 2 months away now, absentee ballots request forms arriving in mailboxes all across the state. If you want to vote absentee, you need to return your form to your county board of elections, and they'll send you the absentee ballot. Keep in mind, you should get that request in at the latest by October 27th. Once your local board of election receives your ballot, you can track it at voteohio.gov/track. Well, Old Navy now giving employees Election Day off. The company will pay workers to staff the polls come November 3rd. Many states, including here in Ohio, are facing a shortage of poll workers because of the coronavirus pandemic. All 50,000 Old Navy employees are eligible for this choice.
We continue our 88 counties in 88 days, and today we highlight Champaign County. The current pandemic has changed many things in our day-to-day lives. Many people are unemployed, and the need for food pantries is greater than ever. We show you how community members banded together to fill that need.
I feel like in Champaign County, we are a very large mix of different nationalities, different colors, different income groups, wealth groups. But we also face a community right now that's hurting for just food. And so we've taken on this project to just serve people that are in need of food. We've been here now 11 years. The old skating rink here in Urbana is how everybody knows it. And we've just built relationships and just tried to be right here in the community. We see the ever increasing need of people that have been laid off or people that haven't been able to get to the rise of their income, especially due to these circumstances today with COVID. And we've seen that people off the streets are one paycheck away from needing a food pantry.
During the COVID pandemic, we have seen about a 55% increase in the amount of people who are seeking assistance. We are a staff of 14, and we typically have relied heavily on volunteers. volunteers were not able to be part of our operations because of COVID. When the guards came in, they assisted and filled in where our volunteers typically have in the past.
We have definitely been needed, that's for sure. We do mobile distribution, but basically it's like a drive-through. You drive your car through, and you open your trunk, you open your doors, and we pile all the food in that we can.
Some people don't have an income right now, and it's really hurting them. And the pantries are the only place that they can get food from. So, without them, they'd starve to death.
I pick up for some developmental disabilities individuals that they don't have transportation, and they still need the help. Makes us proud to be where we live, where we're getting taken care of.
We care for each other. This community is tight, man. This community is a tight group of people. I've never seen one time ever that a need has not been met by a community of people that have come together and just try to unite.
And Ismael Goul shows us something to smile about in Ottawa County at African Safari Wildlife Park. Isn't it cute? Feeding there. You can show us your Ohio during our 88 Counties in 88 Days features by going to our app and submitting your photos and videos there tonight.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin hopes to reach a bipartisan coronavirus relief package soon. Talks between Democrats and the Trump administration on a new relief package broke down earlier last month. Mnuchin promised he would return to the negotiating table. Right now, the two sides are still more than $1 trillion apart. A push underway tonight by a group of parents demanding that their kids get back to in-class learning. Roxanne Elias in Sylvania tonight with details on this. Roxanne, these parents aren't happy with this virtual choice, claiming there have been a slew of issues. What do you know?
That's right, Andrew. I'm at Sylvania Highland Elementary School, where, as you can take a look behind me, parents have already started to gather, holding up signs, and what they are demanding is back in-class learning. Now, in this planned event on social media, a father is making a call for parents to petition and let kids go back to class. That's 5 days a week is what he's asking for. And the reasoning behind all of this, he states, is there have been several problems already with the students learning virtually. He is calling it a broken system and is asking other parents to also speak up and demand change. Now, we'll be out here for another few minutes, and we're actually going to go and talk to some of these parents who brought their students out here and see kind of what they've been finding out with what they do not like with virtual learning. And I have that at 6 o'clock for you guys. For now, I'm in Sylvania. Live in Sylvania, Roxanne Elias, WTOL 11.
Roxanne, thanks. Recent high school graduates didn't get to experience their senior year as they may have hoped, but a local college is trying to add a bright spot to this year. Kaylee Kirby tells us about a new scholarship through Owens Community College specifically for those new grads.
COVID-19 has had a drastic impact on the class of 2020 high school graduates. That's why Owens Community College is offering a new scholarship for those graduates to help get their college education started. $500 will be given to any recent high school graduate in our area whose plans to further their education may have been altered because of the pandemic. VP of Enrollment Management and Student Services Amy Giordano says this is a one-of-a-kind scholarship to help 2020 high school graduates.
With so many variables around health and safety and work and going away to college, we've noticed a trend that for our fall semester students, many of our traditional high school students are missing.
Those who apply and are awarded the scholarship would receive the $500 for the 2021 spring semester. Giordano says there's no cap on the number of people who can receive the award.
Honestly, as many students as we have who want to join us from the class of 2020, we would be thrilled to welcome them this spring semester.
Some of the requirements include being a graduating member of the class of 2020, enrolled in 12 credit hours for the spring semester at Owens, and are degree or certificate seeking. You can read all the requirements and how to apply on our website or free news app. Reporting in Perrysburg, Kaylee Kirby, WTOL 11.
All right, some encouraging news tonight. Your 401k and pension plans is that much healthier after a major rally on Wall Street. Dan Cummins here with the incredible numbers today. Dan.
Yeah, you know, the Dow shot up 454 points today, much of it in the final hour of trading. A lot of optimism out there. We're closer to that V-shaped recovery. Manufacturing orders at their highest level since 2004. And here's a major milestone with today's rally. The Dow within 400 points or 2%. Or its record high set earlier this year, already much higher than its mark on January 1st just of this year. NASDAQ and the S&P also continuing their record pace. Something to watch for is the August jobs report that should be coming out tomorrow. Melissa?
All right, Dan, thanks so much. United Airlines plans to furlough more than 16,000 workers starting October 1st. This is when payroll restrictions attached to a federal bailout expire. United executives say the number is less than half of the airline's July furlough forecast. They say it's due in part to workers accepting early retirements or voluntary departures and unpaid leave. The projected furloughs represent about 20% of United's frontline workers. Executives said an extension of the CARES Act could hold off the furloughs.
All right, let's give you a live look outside this Wednesday. Some clouds out there, but plenty rainfall throughout the evening. Ryan Weekman has details in his first alert forecast next.
All right, let's get you an early look here at our Charlie's Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Big Board Friday forecast here. This is one that we really like to show you after I know the opening kickoff week last week. We had the rain, the showers, the thunderstorms, delays to deal with. This week there's going to be nothing like that. Look at the sunshine out there. Temperatures in the 70s. Humidity is going to be low as well. Picture perfect out on the football fields. Not too bad out there right now either. This is our Fifth Third Bank camera. Right now, 83 degrees. We've got a west breeze. You still feel it outside. It's still a little bit heavy. The air is and humid. I think that's going to continue through tomorrow. And then as you just saw for our Big Board Friday forecast, that does drop off for us. And a better look at the next 4 days for us here. A high of 85 degrees for tomorrow. We're back down in the 70s for Friday and Saturday. And then it looks like we will jump back up Sunday. Labor Day weekend forecast starting to improve, looking a little bit better for us there. Let's look at the next 48 hours in a little more detail here with our hour-by-hour forecast. Of course, you can always glance at our sidebar hour-by-hour to get you through the next few hours or few days. Let's turn to the big map here and put it into motion overnight. And for tomorrow morning, that's going to be a little bit of a damp start, not because of any rain overnight, but winds are going to go calm. Temperatures are going to drop down into the 50s, leaves a pretty heavy dew on the ground or any cars left outside. I think lows will drop down in the 50s for tonight. Tomorrow afternoon should reach into the mid 80s again. This is probably our warmest day that we've got left in the next few. Friday, front comes through, doesn't have any rain with it overnight, but look how those temperatures drop down Friday morning, back down in the low 50s. This will be a cool start to the day, and it just kind of has that feeling all day long that we just can't quite get going in the temperature department. We're only going to be in the mid 70s for a high on Friday. So tonight, clearing out skies. Tomorrow afternoon should reach the mid 80s for a high temperature. And when you look at our extended forecast here, I already took you through the next few days. Here's a look at our Labor Day Monday. Still a threat for some scattered showers. Our cool down for next week a little bit less pronounced, and so we've dropped some of the cooler highs, actually raised them a little bit, and there you see highs will be in the mid 70s. Still a fairly unsettled weather pattern with a couple chances for showers into next week.
Getting COVID-19 and then needing a very rare surgery. For a few people, it's become reality. How one of them made it through. Next. Some recovered coronavirus patients are left with permanent lung damage, and 7 of those patients here in the U.S. received a rare double lung transplant.
CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook spoke exclusively to one of those survivors.
In mid-March, the early days of the pandemic in the U.S., coronavirus was not on Brian Kunz's mind.
I heard just a very little about it. Sure enough, though, the next day I heard about it.
The 62-year-old was working at his suburban Chicago auto shop when he hit a wall.
I just got back from lunch and I got sick. Boom, I was done.
He would shake so bad, like a jackhammer, not just like a shiver, but I mean a violently jerking shake.
Kuhn's wife, Nancy, rushed him to the hospital.
I don't remember anything for like a month and a half after that. The first time I woke up in the hospital, I couldn't breathe.
His lungs were severely damaged and unable to supply enough oxygen to his body, even with a ventilator. So doctors started ECMO, a life support treatment that uses a machine outside the body to add oxygen to blood. He was on it for 100 days. Alone in the hospital, he prepared his wife, daughters, and grandchildren for the worst.
I said, don't expect me to come home. Love you, goodbye.
And then finally, what happened?
They said there's nothing else we can do. It's either get a transplant or die. I took a chance. And those guys are relentless. They wouldn't give up.
We provided the oxygen. Those guys were Dr. Ankit Bharat and his transplant team at Northwestern Medicine.
This was the treatment of last resort for him. We told him, like, I cannot, say with certainty that he will get through this, but we have done it once before.
Just a month earlier, Dr. Bharat's team performed the first successful double lung transplant on a COVID patient in the U.S. She was 28 years old. Now it was Kuhn's turn.
When you opened up his chest in the operating room, what did his lungs look like?
In patients who have this COVID-19 lung injury and lung failure, they develop these punched out holes throughout the lungs. And Brian, he had big cavities. The lung was stuck to the heart, to the diaphragm, to the chest wall.
The day after the 10-hour surgery, doctors took Brian off the ventilator to test out his new lungs.
And of course, the first thing I did was go, wow.
Is that okay? Okay. You getting tired?
Kuhn's has weeks of rehabilitation before he can go home. He's lost weight and muscle tone, but gained a new appreciation for the miracle of a simple breath of air.
I suspect you will never take breathing for granted again.
No, I won't.
Dr. Barat says this rare treatment may be expanded to help a relatively small number of other severely ill COVID-19 patients. Meanwhile, after working for years as a self-employed mechanic, Kuhn's is now retired and told me, I got a little camper, maybe I'll go see the USA. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News.
Well, moms, you don't have to stress anymore about feeding your baby while juggling your grocery shopping. Walmart is installing lactation suites in more than 100 stores this year. The pods offer freestanding spaces where you can breastfeed or pump. They're free to use and access through the app. Walmart says it's the first retailer to install them in a store setting. Well, now you can share a cold one with man's best friend. Yeah, that's right, a beer for your dog. It's called Dog Brew by Busch, and it's a non-alcoholic bone broth. You can pour the whole can into a water bowl or use it to soften your dog's food. It's not the first time a brewery's included dog beer on its list, but it may be the most expensive. A 4-pack sells online for $10, and it's currently sold out, but you can sign up for a waiting list. It is cute.
That's quite expensive. I'll give mine a piece of chicken. Hey, Carol Baskin will be competing in the new season of Dancing with the Stars. The name may ring a bell from the Netflix docuseries Tiger King. Grammy Award winner rapper Nelly, another celebrity contested on the show this year. The show will also have a new host for the first time, Tyra Banks, taking over after the sudden departure of Tom Bergeron, who hosted for 15 years. Netflix signing some actual royalty. The streaming company saying the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have signed a multi-year production deal. Now, it doesn't mean Meghan's returning to acting, although she and Prince Harry may appear on camera for a few projects. The royal couple will be producing exclusive Netflix content like scripted series, documentaries, and features, even a few children's shows.
A short break, and we're coming right back after this.
Stick with us.
put in pods. Time is running out if you want to take in a movie at the ballpark. Fifth Third Field is playing Jurassic Park Saturday and Trolls Sunday. You'll be put in pods in the outfield 6 feet apart from other groups. Tickets include the movie, a hot dog, popcorn, and a pop. You do have to reserve your ticket online for Jurassic Park by Thursday. And Friday for Trolls, the movies start at 8 p.m.
You have to wear a mask when you come into the ballpark, when you walk around in that, but then when you get seated in your pod, you can take your mask off and just have a good time hanging out with your family.
This is the first event for Fifth Third Field this year because the Mudhead season was canceled. The beer garden at Hensville is also open Friday and Saturday nights through September.
Well, check this out. There's no stopping the New York State Fair annual Dairy Association display. You know, it involves a whole lot of butter. Take a look at this year's butter sculpture. One side, a dairy farmer is depicted providing some milk to a child learning from home with his mother and a virtual teacher. The other side, a child learning in school while a school nutrition worker delivers them a meal. Artists use, get this, 800 pounds of butter to create that sculpture.
If only it was cheese. Yum, yum, yum.
I'm always amazed at how creative they can be with that stick of butter or sticks.
Yeah, get it to stay there.
A whole lot. Hey, stick with us. More news and weather coming up next at 6.
First, though, here's a few calming shots from downtown Sylvania tonight.
Mic check, Amy Steigerwald, 1, 2, 3. I'm told.
Mic check, 1, 2. I can't see the broadcast. Is there some reason I can't see you guys? Oh, okay. Nope. I just see me.
We're concerned about the potential for a violent weekend.
Cracking down on violent crime. The strong words from police heading into this busy holiday weekend.
Tracking the coronavirus, our 11 Investigates team looks into the numbers right now in communities and schools and what we can expect from the trends.
And rolling off the lines, we're less than 24 hours away from a big announcement built right here in Northwest Ohio. Thanks for sticking with us tonight at 6. I'm Andrew Kinsey.
And I'm Melissa Andrews. A rainy start to the day with some gray skies, but what's ahead for the rest of tonight?
Ryan Weekman standing by with details in the First Alert forecast. Ryan.
Yeah, the rest of this evening is going to be dry for us here. In fact, not only tonight, but it looks like Thursday, Friday, and into the upcoming Labor Day weekend. Just to check in, here's what's going on First Alert Doppler. Any rainfall from earlier is out of here. Still lingering clouds out there, but still think we'll get a little bit of some sunshine yet. 82 degrees. It's a west-northwest breeze. It's not going to usher in much drier air for tomorrow. It's still going to be a little bit of a heavy, humid feeling day. And our hour-by-hour forecast here on the First Alert weather app walks us through this evening with temperatures falling into the 60s, a calm wind. I'll show you, though, how things are going to change in a big way, the way it feels before we get to the weekend in my hour-by-hour.
A warning from Toledo police and federal agents about the upcoming holiday weekend. Crime is going up. Amy Steigerwald is outside the safety building tonight. Amy, shootings have more than doubled since this time last year.
Yeah, that's right, Melissa. And Toledo Police Chief George Krall tells me homicide numbers are also up 68% as compared to this time last year. Now, moving into this Labor Day weekend, Chief Krall, along with other federal agents, are concerned about violent incidents happening right here in Toledo. Not because of any specific incident they are aware of, but more so because of trends they've seen so far this year. Officers are launching Project Red Zone this weekend. This means law enforcement is making an extra effort to find individuals who have weapons and are not supposed to. In order to do that, federal agents will be present throughout the city. TPD is also increasing the number of officers they have on staff this weekend as well. Now, it's important to note additional federal officers are not being brought here to Toledo like we've seen in other cities like Cleveland. Rather, they are agents who already live and work here. Chief Krall says he feels it's important to find people who aren't supposed to have weapons, especially because of the rising crime rate, and it has no specific pattern or connections to each other.
If you're carrying a gun illegally in Toledo this weekend, you better watch out, because if you get found, if you get caught, when you get found, when you get caught, you're going to federal prison.
We've seen retaliatory shootings, we've seen pure randomness, we've seen crimes of opportunity. To say that the uptick is because of one specific cause or gang, if you will, no, it's a mixture of everything.
Now, Chief Krall emphasized they will be stepping it up when it comes to gun violence, not just this weekend, but moving forward later into the year as well.
Amy, I think an important note here is there's no specific incident officers are looking for or anticipating. So do you have any idea how many more officers they're talking about bringing on this weekend?
Well, Melissa, I'm told that TPD is actually finalizing those numbers within the coming days, and they should be available by the weekend. But you're right, there is no specific incident they are anticipating. They're just basing this off recent trends and what we've seen so far this year.
Amy, thank you. We are tracking the latest coronavirus numbers across Ohio right now. Ohio seeing fewer new cases today, marked an increase of more than 1,100, but that's fewer new cases than we saw Tuesday. However, reporting is often delayed due to the weekend. Meantime, the Toledo-Lucas County Health Department warning anyone who feels sick to just stay at home. The health commissioner saying that applies to even the most common cough. The health department held a news conference today explaining the concerns. Experts say one person who doesn't know he or she has the virus can quickly spread it in a school, among a sports team, or even at work. And even though the numbers appear to be going down, experts say we can't stop being cautious now.
We're all kind of thinking by this time we might be out of the red zone. We might be seeing better numbers with the daily cases, but we've kind of plateaued a little bit here.
The health department also adding more contact tracers to its team. They track who anyone with the virus might have been around while they were sick.
Health officials also say they're concerned about COVID-19 infections potentially spiking after Labor Day weekend. That is what happened in Ohio after the 4th of July. Lead investigator Brian Duggar has been tracking these numbers for several months now, and he joins us via Skype. Brian, Ohio did see a big spike after July 4th. I know you reported that. So should we be concerned with another big holiday coming up? After all, we do want the kids, ideally someday, to get back in schools.
Hi, Melissa. Yeah, what we saw in the middle of June, we were seeing cases about 400 a day, and we had about 500 people in the hospital. And I think people at that point, they kind of got comfortable. And around July 4th, they started going to backyard barbecues, pool parties. You know, they crowded into the bars. And what we saw after July 4th, a couple of weeks after, those cases spiked from 400 to 1,300 a day. They went from 500 people in the hospital to 1,300 people in the hospital. So I think it's natural. People think whenever they're around family and friends that they're safe. And, you know, you add a couple of drinks into that and they kind of let their safeguards down, but you really need to be careful, you know, this weekend.
All right, Brian, thanks so much for digging into that for us. And of course, I know you'll have those numbers a couple weeks after the holiday weekend passes. Thanks, Brian.
Parents in Sylvania back to protesting. They say just 3 days in and the remote learning plan is a nightmare with issues logging on, a lack of interaction between teachers and students. Roxanne Elias live from Sylvania tonight with details on their frustration and their demand. Roxanne.
Andrew, that's right. I'm out here in Sylvania in front of one of the schools where, as you can see, there are several parents holding up signs. They're very frustrated. They say they don't have any idea how they're supposed to know how to do virtual learning. And a lot of them say that that their job is not to be a teacher. Now, in a planned event on social media, a father is making a call for parents to petition and let kids go back to class 5 days a week. He says there have been several problems already with students virtually learning, tears from students, problems getting online, and teachers not instructing enough throughout the day. He is calling it a broken system and is asking other parents to speak up and demand change.
What I see right here is an epic failure to our students, and I'm just trying to get out here to get people to stand behind what they're saying on this Facebook and get it out to the community so we can make a change and get our students back into school.
Sylvania schools right now plan to move to hybrid plan on September 14th, but some parents say that's not soon enough, and kids need to go back into the building now. The district told parents it has to stay on yellow until October because there aren't enough cleaning supplies or space to social distance. Now, coming up at 10 and 11, I will speak to more of the parents that are out here. I'm going to learn a little bit more about some other issues that they're having with virtual learning and also maybe what their plan is next after this. But for now, reporting live in Sylvania, Roxanne Elias, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks so much, Roxanne. Our Verified team is working hard tonight to separate fact from fiction when it comes to cleaning those reusable masks. A viewer sent us a claim that you can effectively clean your mask using some supplies you'd find in your kitchen, like your pressure cooker or even your crock pot. We checked in with a local doctor to find out if it's true and the best way to clean your mask. Tyler Pay will have the full report right here tonight at 11. And don't forget, if you have a claim or question you want us to verify, text it to us at 419-248-1100. You can also message us on Facebook or Twitter.
Well, it is now a trend in communities across Northwest Ohio. Those outdoor refreshment areas popping up, giving people another option to socialize without being tethered to a restaurant or bar. New tonight, John Muck getting reaction from businesses in downtown Perrysburg about the newly approved door there.
Tuesday, Perrysburg City Council approved a proposal to establish their own downtown outdoor refreshment area in a 5-2 vote. The designated area stretches down Louisiana Avenue and also incorporates a block of 3rd Street. Many of the established businesses in downtown Perrysburg worked together to show City Council they were all behind this proposal.
But it will expand our perimeter, as in like people coming in and they want to wait for a table, they'll be able to get a drink at the bar and kind of mosey around town and kind of give them like a bigger waiting room so everyone's not kind of crammed into one area trying to wait for a table.
And for Stella's restaurant, who already have an established outdoor patio area, the Dora won't so much offer their patrons more seating, but is expected to generate more foot traffic for them and their neighboring businesses.
It's going to be able to allow us for people to get a drink and to walk around and look in the windows, visit the other shops. I don't know how much it's going to bring to our bottom line, but I think it was more about what it did for the downtown area of Perrysburg.
Yeah. Now, there is no concrete time frame yet for when the Perrysburg DORA will be activated, but the organizers have posted on Facebook that they hope to have everything in place and have the Perrysburg DORA up and running in time to enjoy by the end of this year. Reporting from Perrysburg, I'm John Monk, WTOL 11.
Strong storms destroyed communities when Hurricane Laura hit. Now a local shelter is helping the animals who lost everything find their forever homes, and they need your help tonight.
Happening tomorrow, we'll get our first look at the newest edition of the Toledo-built Jeep Wrangler. The electric version of the iconic vehicle is expected to get up to 21 miles of electric-only driving. It's also supposed to be a pretty quiet ride. Fiat Chrysler is also set to unveil the newly redesigned Jeep Wagoneer tomorrow. We'll bring you both on air and online.
Well, take a look at this video from Louisiana tonight. You can see homes destroyed, families picking up the pieces after Hurricane Laura swept through that area a few days ago. Tonight, the Lucas County pit crew working to help some of our four-legged friends who lost their homes in that storm. A group of dogs and cats arriving to the animal rescue area today. The shelter saying now it needs foster families to take in some of the animals. If you can help, you can reach out to the pit crew. We've posted details over at WTOL.com and on our free news app.
We continue tracking the issues important to you across all of Ohio this election season, and tonight we're focusing on Champaign County. It's just west of Columbus and about a 2.5-hour drive from Toledo. With the current pandemic, many are unemployed and struggling to make money. Residents in need of food pantries to provide for their families. And we're highlighting how they're meeting those needs.
We have definitely been needed, that's for sure. We do mobile distribution, but basically it's like a drive-through. You drive your car through and you open your trunk, you open your doors, and we pile all the food in that we can.
Because of the pandemic, they could not rely on volunteers and had to call in the National Guard. The food bank has seen a 55% increase since the pandemic started.
Coming up, we're tracking the prices at the pump as we head into the Labor Day weekend. What you can expect to pay if you got to fill up. That's next.
And we've got some blue skies trying to get out there yet for tonight. Don't have much time left before sunset. We'll talk about what's on the way for tomorrow right after the break.
too used to.
Microphone check for Jordan. Microphone check for Jordan. Hello, 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 hello.
All right, first alert forecast for your Thursday here. Looking ahead to tomorrow, a warm and muggy day ahead. Yes, some sunshine that will be back out as well. I think you'll feel it still. It will be on the humid side. And let's talk temperatures right here, our hour by hour forecast, because there's going to be a big shift from tomorrow into Friday and kind of how it feels, not only from a mugginess standpoint, but just a pure temperature one here. Let's go overnight tonight. We're going to slip back down into the upper 50s. It's going to be one of those mornings you step outside, the dew will be heavy on the ground because the winds will be nearly calm overnight tonight. But at 8 a.m., we're at 58 in Toledo, 60 in BG, and 58 over there in Napoleon and Wauseon. Daytime highs should reach into the mid 80s here, and into the evening, it's still going to be very mild. Look at these 7 p.m. temperatures right at about 80 degrees. A little bit of a front tomorrow night comes through. Doesn't have a chance for rain along with it. It just doesn't have enough moisture to work with. But look at these overnight lows. Friday morning will be down back close to 50 degrees with afternoon highs that will be more in the mid 70s. So that front's not only going to drop temperatures down a little bit for Friday, it's also going to basically push out the really sticky, muggy air that's been out there. Just in time for our Labor Day weekend. Here's what it looks like for Saturday and Sunday. Plenty of sunshine here. We've been able to take down the chance for rain on Sunday. Look at that high temperature of 82. And for Labor Day, we've been able to raise the high temperature. We're up to 84 here. Still a chance for a few scattered showers, but it does look a little bit more mild. That's for the holiday weekend. Here's a live look outside. Our Yark Chevy of Perrysburg camera down at Levis Commons there. And first alert Doppler this evening. Any rain we had earlier today is long gone, and your evening plans tonight, some pretty nice September weather. Temperatures that'll be in the mid 70s, eventually drop off there into the 60s. Let's look at the full extended forecast now on our 10-day outlook that goes into next week. Still looks like highs will be a touch cooler for several days next week. Unsettled weather pattern can bring some chances for rain showers as well. But now that we've got our rain past us this week, it is smooth sailing into the Labor Day weekend with just a few chances for some late rain showers. Melissa?
All right, Ryan, thanks so much. Gas prices holding steady as we head into this Labor Day weekend. Can you believe it's already Labor Day? Well, here's a look at what you can expect to pay according to Gas Buddy. The average price around town, $1.98. That's down from last week when we were paying $2.04 and way down from $2.61 last year. We know the pandemic is causing a lot of uncertainty, and many people have lost their jobs and are now relying on unemployment or maybe loans. But adding to the stress, some of this help isn't coming for free. First, if you borrowed PPP, a portion of that will need to be paid back. You also might see more taxes next year if you claimed unemployment. We talked with a tax expert today who says anyone who received $10,000 or more in unemployment could be bumped into another tax bracket. And that has some people saying they shouldn't have to pay it back if it was their only option.
Like I said, a lot of jobs that shut down, a lot of people's businesses and stuff. It's not like now. They say it's opening back up, but it's not the same no more. People's not making, especially the small business owners. They're losing a whole lot.
Your stimulus check you may have received will not affect your taxes in any way.
New tonight, financial experts say the coronavirus pandemic has caused the biggest economic shrinkage in U.S. history. Right now, we're making strides to get back on track. Dan Cummins explaining how COVID-19 has changed how investors look at money. Dan.
Well, when you hear the phrase stocks and bonds, a lot of faces just go blank, right? It sounds so complicated. If it's investments or your 401k, profits off stocks are taxed. Bonds, if you buy government bonds or munis, they are not taxed at all, but they don't make the kind of money as stocks, especially now. Here's Alan Lance, an investment advisor. Lance and Associates, the Fed has kept the interest rate next to nothing to prop up our economy in the pandemic, and they've said it'll stay that way for a few years, so why get bonds at all?
I think you get to the point where you really have to make the right decisions. Like bonds right now, unless you think it's a negative interest rate environment coming where we're going to actually have negative rates like some of Europe and Asia, you're going to lose money in bonds. There's more risk than reward. So the standard, 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds, I think is really skewed, and people really have to readjust their situation. It's no more textbook type business or investing 101.
On Thursday, Alan Lance talks about a priority for the next stimulus package, like helping small business. Jordan?
Sports is next. I'm Jordan Strack. We are out at Central Catholic. We continue to get you set for Charlie's Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Big Board Friday. We will have Greg Dempsey live with us coming up after the break. Put that in your pocket. I'm going to run this up through your shirt. I muted it.
We hooked on, we good?
Yep, there you go.
Is everybody wearing their mask during this?
Oh, yeah. Easy. Sports is brought to you by Jim White Honda. I am Jordan Strack. Tonight we are out at Central Catholic as we get you set for Charlie's Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Big Board Friday. It is week 2. One of our top games of the night is Central Catholic and St. John's. Greg Dempsey, the Central Catholic coach, joining me now. Deps, this is always a fun game. Is it weird to have this thing just week 2 and have so much on the line this early in the season?
Oh, no doubt about it. This is when we played St. John's when I played here. That's 30 years ago. To have something like this come this fast, they were in a rivalry game last week already. So it is different for all of us, but it's better than not playing, that's for sure. And it makes the beginning pretty exciting.
What did you learn about your group from just one game?
I don't know, really. I got to be honest. Things kind of snowballed so fast. we didn't get tested really much except the first drive on offense, and I know we're going to get tested Friday night. So you got to see how we're going to handle adversity, which we didn't face much of the other night. So you can get a little false sense of hope sometimes coming out of those situations. Hope you're ready because you know they've been tested and you know they're ready to go.
On the other side, you know St. John's, they have Brady Lichtenberg, and they've got Jaden McKinstry and Thomas Zyrus. How do you try to slow them down?
That's a great question. You're not going to stop guys like that. You know that. You got to hopefully disrupt some rhythm of things and make them deal with some adversity, which they didn't deal with much of last week, and especially in the second half on. So you got to make sure that you're trying to get some stops early on so they can't get in rhythm. You know they're going to get some. You got to make sure your offense is answering the call and moving the ball and trying to keep an offense like that off the field.
You know that you're going to get everybody's best shot every single week when you're at Central Catholic. How has this group in particular maybe learned to embrace that so far, knowing that you're going to, this year, you're going to get everybody's best shot in these 6 regular season games?
Oh, you know, it's something we preach a lot. We're going to find out if we learn the lesson because this week's going to be a big one. You know, this is their senior class. It's a really good class, their last chance to get to play us, and they definitely remember last year when we played them twice within about a 3-week span, or not 3-week span last year, but twice last year, and beat them both times. Those kids want revenge. We better be ready to go. Every week we are. We're someone's Super Bowl, and you gotta raise your bar a little bit.
All right, Debs, thanks so much. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, and of course, our pack and pickup is going virtual. Text the word food to 419-248-1100. If you'd like to donate, you can select the school that you want to benefit from that. And also, we will have our first live broadcast coming up this Friday on our WTOL YouTube page. Guys?
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you right back here at 11.
CBS Evening News is next.
I'm very, I gotta do that thing. I'm very, yes, very much so. You, yeah. Damn it, Bernice. All right.